Good morning and welcome everyone to this week's edition of NCompass Live. I am your host, Krista Porter, here at the Nebraska Library Commission. NCompass Live is the Commission's weekly webinar series where we cover a variety of topics that may be of interest to libraries. We broadcast the show live every Wednesday morning, but if you're unable to join us on Wednesdays, that's fine. We do record the show as we are doing today, and it will be available for you to watch later at your convenience. Everyone who is attending today's show and registered for today's show will get an email from me letting you know when the recording is ready. For those of you who are not from Nebraska, the Nebraska Library Commission is the state agency for libraries, so similar to your whatever state library. So we provide training and resources and databases and grants and consulting to all types of libraries in the state. So you will find shows on NCompass Live for all types, public, academic, K-12, corrections, museums, historical societies, blah, 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 blah. Really, our only criteria is it's something to do with libraries. We have Nebraska Library Commission staff that sometimes do presentations about programs or resources or services we offer through our agency, but we also bring in guest speakers, and that is what we have today. Joining us today is, let me get my page here, Lisa Kipe, who is from the Marie Ellison Memorial Library in Del Rio, Tennessee. Good morning, Lisa.
Morning.
Hi. And she is going to tell us about this really fun program. I've been following it on your web pages or on your Facebook pages and things there. A really fun program that got a community literacy treasure hunt, making literacy fun. So I will hand it over to you, Lisa, to tell us all about what you've been doing at your library there.
All right. It's a mouthful. Community. I can't even say it today. Community literacy treasure hunt. What really started this was we have 4 libraries in our county. We're a library system, but we are not branch libraries. It's a complicated situation. But we all do summer reading, and we each have our own programs. We have always tried to schedule it so that each library is doing a different day of the week. So you can travel the entire county and get to 4 different programs. Over the years, we've added things like lunch programs as well as this. So you come have lunch and do the program, participate, whatever you're going to do. Now, one of the things that we did notice over the years is that we had to make some changes. We had certain families who were always reading the most, getting the most minutes, depending on how we were doing it that year, number of books or minutes. And they were winning all the prizes. All the libraries. Of course, that's discouraging. So we made changes to that where it became a raffle system. And so that you read a certain number of books, a number of minutes, you got a raffle ticket. And once you won, if you won a big prize at one library, you could not win it at any other library. Then we had to the point where we were doing all kinds of little prizes and this type of thing. We had some parents come to us and say, please stop with the little plastic garbage. It's really fun and great at the time, but as a parent myself, I understand that at a certain point, there's just all this little stuff you don't need anymore. So we moved on to trying for experiences. And so we got tickets for the aquarium, for the zoo, for a bunch of different things. Most of them were donated. Some of them we paid a little bit for. It was really nice. But again, it still didn't seem to help. And right about that time, this was about 2022, we were presented with the literacy numbers for the state of Tennessee. And we're knowing that this is post-COVID, but the testing on the TCAP was low for 3rd graders especially. And this became an issue to us because libraries are definitely about literacy. So we started to try and figure out a way to do things. And one of the first things we would do is ask kids, what was your book about? But, sometimes you could say they wouldn't know. They've kind of picked out, they've checked out 25 or so books for the week, but they can't tell you what a single book was about. I mean, and to the point where we started thinking that maybe they're doing this. Oh, I read a book. Okay, what did you read? What was the book? So we started trying to figure out a way to not only get the community involved in increasing literacy, but for us to help get literacy. So we started with the idea of you have to write book reviews. Now, some are reading all the rounds for 4 weeks out here. So that would be 4 book reviews. So you only have to read 4 books all summer long, but you have to write a book review. And the reward for writing a book review was the idea that you could go out into the community with a list that you got for that week. Each book review you turned in got you a list of participating businesses and offices for the week. And you can go to each business and get a brand new book. So that worked out pretty well, but it has been working for us, but it was a hard road to get to it. Mm-hmm. The first year, I'm afraid I was a little overly verbose. So I wrote a letter going into great detail what our plan was, and it turned out being a 1.5-page letter. And I don't know that businesses were reading it. And it was a lot of legwork. We are a small county. We have about 40,000 people in the county, and we're fairly spread out. It's a rural farming community. So there was a lot of legwork going from business to business to say, would you do this? Especially the first year. Now, by the second year, it got a lot easier. But as some people might know, we actually were victims of Hurricane Helene. So that hit our county heavily. And so some of the businesses couldn't participate. The second year, there was a lot of things that changed. And just like anything with business, it changes on a regular basis. The third year, which is this year, got even easier. In some cases, we didn't even have to go to the business. We just called them up and said, hey, are you interested? Or they contacted us and said, hey, are we doing this again this year? We try and keep it at a cap of about, decided the cap would be 35 businesses or offices in the community, because after that, it starts to become a little bit burdensome on the family to go out there. But this is 35 new books per family. Some of our families are very large. So we thought that would be also a burden on the parents, because now you've got 6 copies of the same book in your house. So per family seems to be the way to do it. So a little bit more about how we got to it. It was just, I went to a young lady in town here. Her name is Jennifer Ellison. She runs an agency called Cradle to Career Coalition, Cott County Cradle to Career Coalition. Cradle to Career is nationwide. She runs a local office, and we said, how can we do this? Her suggestion, of course, at first was become a scholastic literacy partner. And by being in the partnership, that gets you discounted books for a very low price. Their only agreement is that you give these books away for free. So that worked out because we were able to go to the businesses, especially post-flood, and they put a lot of money out for these things. And all we're asking is a small amount of money. We found that it averages out to be about $40 to $50 to buy the books. We also jokingly call ourselves the book dealers, because for some reticent companies and businesses, we'd say, well, we're interested, but we don't know if we can afford it. Okay, how about we give you the first year's book for free? So we reached into our budgets, and Jennifer has a little bit more budget than we do, so she was able to do this more than us. And we did supply them with their first year's book for free. And in most cases, they've come back and bought their own book for the next year. So here's what we narrowed it down to make it a little bit easier. This is a letter that we started going out to the community with. 3 points: simple, easy, how this benefits you as a business, as an office. It gets people out into parts of the community that they might not normally go to. Mm-hmm. People involved with the local kids. It gets them involved in reading. This really helps a lot of the newer businesses, but it helps some of the older businesses too, and especially some of the offices. We've got a lot of government offices in the county seat. The mayor's office, kids don't know anything about the mayor's office. Now you do, because you've been there, because you went and got your book. This was a lot better than the 1.5-page letter that I wrote, or just text. This makes it a little easier, and anybody's willing, I'm willing to share this. It's a Canva thing. You can adjust it, put your own name, phone numbers in there. So anything that I put out here, you're able to fix it yourself. And I just realized I didn't ever spell county right on that form, did I?
Nah.
Just looking at it going, oh no, I did it wrong.
Yeah, and I will mention, since you're talking about sharing this and when it being in Canva, that yes, these the slides here that Lisa's offering will using will also be available to you to watch to use later.
Yes.
We usually do include that when we do a recording. So she will either send me a link or a like PDF version of this. We'll figure that out. So you will
Yeah.
have access to all these slides afterwards with the recording as well.
Right. So this is a lot nicer. You also work on your elevator speech.
Oh,
So that you can walk into the business and go, hi, I'm representing my county's, my library, my county's libraries. This is what we want to do to help promote literacy. This is what you do. This is how it benefits you, and things like that. Now, some of the larger libraries already have partnerships with businesses and such, and I'm sure that's going to be very easy to just contact them and say, hey, we want to get you involved in this. For more rural counties, it is going to be legwork. The legwork does get easier. Like I said, by this year, I was able to just call people up and say, hey, do you want to do this again? Now, we have business changes. We have run up against a couple problems. This year, one of our businesses had to close their doors. So they have moved their books. They still want to participate. They moved their books down to the library in their town. Last Saturday, we had a heavy flash flood here in my town, and one of the businesses here cannot continue. I will take her books on and continue for her. She wants to continue, but her business got a couple feet of water in it and she'll be closed for about a week or so. To clean up and start back up again. And we can understand things like that happen. There's nothing you can do about it. So we also simplified it for the community with this flyer. And that way we were able to hand it in to families in the weeks and months beforehand. We were able to post it on social media. It's very simple, very basic. Read a book, fill out your book review, turn it into your library, use your passport, and go out to participating businesses. And they give you more books, which really is very popular with the kids. They think this is a great program. Some of the businesses decided to do a little bit more than just the book. They give out other things. Some businesses, one of our bookstores, gives out 5 books.
Wow.
That's very nice. She lets them choose the books that they want. Other cases, we do the books that we have here. Myself, this year, we're doing sour grape. So, and we do try and make it, because we open this up for little kids, toddlers through 8th grade. So we are trying to make sure that we're hitting books for every age range. And each business does pick the books that they want. Some of them go out and order them themselves. Others come through us. They'll say, I want a book about, well, this year, of course, the summer reading was dinosaurs.
The dinosaurs, yep.
I want a book about dinosaurs. I want a book for older kids about this topic. I want nonfiction. They tell you what you want. Sometimes we'll get a very specific title, which is fine too. And we can usually work with that. And if it's something we can't find, we do go back to the business saying we cannot find it. And we find a way to do it. There was one gentleman who asked for Animal Farm this year, and we just could not find an affordable version of Animal Farm. So next year, maybe we'll be able to do it. The way we actually get this out into the community as well is in February, I go on the radio, the local radio station, and talk with the DJ. That, of course, gets the radio involved, because the radio station says, we're going to do it, why aren't you? Type of thing. We get the local newspaper gets involved. We had a family last year who the young man has some issues speaking to people in public. So they used this as a way to get to speak. She put every time he got a book, they took a picture of it with him in front of the business with the book for that year. And that helped too, because we were able to use that in the newspaper and use that as part of our social media and get more businesses involved, to the point where we did have people calling us to say, hey, this is a great program. Can we get involved? So like I said, the first year is the hardest. It's always going to be the hardest year, any type of program.
Oh, sure. Change is difficult. New things are difficult for people.
Exactly. Now, the way we actually do it so that businesses know that the children are involved, and I should have had this sitting here. We have little notebooks. And this year we have dinosaurs on them. This is one that hasn't been used yet. It would say literacy passport on it. I bought notebooks. Last year I made notebooks. This year I bought notebooks. Just little notebooks. We number the pages, and then we assign a number to each business. So when it comes down to it, once we have everybody that's involved, we get a letter out to each business, tell them what week they're going to be in and what their number is, so that when the kids bring the passport, they open that up, they stamp it, they sticker it, they sign it, however they do it, and then they hand the kid the book. We've never had an issue here with people coming and say, well, I didn't get a book. Well, your passport shows whether or not you got a book. And if you didn't, well, that's okay. The businesses understand that if the passport is not with the child does not get a book. Again, we don't have any real issues with that here. I've never heard anybody complain that somebody's come in and tried to get free books without having done the work. But it's not a lot of work. We're not asking a huge amount of work. We did split it into 3 different categories for the readers, because you have beginning readers, middle readers, and advanced readers. But we just really wanted the children to prove that they were reading things. Sure. And in doing that, we came up with these forms. And I forgot about this. We do make these signs too. We are County Community Literacy Treasure Hunt participant. People take that sign, put it in their window. This helps them as a business, not only so that people can identify that, oh yeah, I am at the right place, even though my list says it, has my address. Some people are still like, am I in the right place? It really seems to be affecting how people treat the business that are not involved, because this has become a community thing. Now you're participating in something that benefits the community. So everybody gets this sign put in their window, and that stays up in this case until August this year. We did extend it just a little bit so that we can make sure everybody could get out and do the things. So on to the forms. This is our most basic form that I found. Now you can use whatever forms that you like. The ones that I chose have ratings scales on them. This one is fun because the kids really like this. This is really good for the little ones. Didn't get to scan them in, but you get, a lot of times you get the kids read the story and draw a picture and they interpret. This is pretty good. Granger drew a garden. Other times you get things like this. So go ahead and interpret what that means. So there's a lot of fun ones. You never know what
it looks like they gave it 5 stars, though, whatever they thought about it.
Right. But that's the nice thing. I did tell all the librarians, tell them it's okay to not like a book, because you're not going to like every book you read. Now, some books you're going to have to finish reading because they are school assigned. But it's also okay to not like a book, set the book aside and get a different book. Because the world is full of books and life is too short to read books that you don't like. I have that policy for myself, and I have it for the kids too. So this is a very basic one. Basically, a lot of pre-readers, kindergartners, first graders use this form. And a couple of the other libraries in the county have different forms, and that's okay too. This is the second form. This is a second range of form, and we got a really good example. He didn't like the book. He wrote about it, but he didn't like the book. And that's okay. Yeah. That's what we want them to do. It's okay to say, I don't like the book. And then in other cases, of course, it was a favorite book. And this gets a little more detail into it. They have to talk more about the characters, the settings, not just your favorite part. Get more detail into it. And that gets them deeper into the reading. And this is something that you should be reading at 3rd, 4th grade level. For the 5th grade on up, we went with this form. Again, a lot more detailed. You've got to give me more information than you were before. And we have a few of those. Again, it's up to the child how much information. Again, not a favorite book. So, but some of the kids get really creative. This is one of the middle form. They go detailed and they color it. This young lady loves Dogman books, and she loves to draw, so she draws them out. So that's the basic form. This is the form they bring back to the library. Once they bring back to the library, they get their list, and it's just a very simple list. This is our week 1 list. It shows the names, the various different businesses, what number they belong to, and where they are. And some of the buildings, some of them are closer together. We did learn after the first year to please, since it's 4 different towns, please put each town on their own week. It makes it easier on the parents, because we did have them kind of split up and spread out, and some of the parents did suggest it might be easier if we can just come out one day and do all of Del Rio, or do all of Cosby, or all of Parrotsville, all of Newport. Now, Newport is our county seat, so it does have a lot more businesses involved, so they kind of get stuck in around the rest of the list. But it's made things a little bit easier on the people. So that's where we're at with that. And it does help a lot. People really appreciate it. They do come out. We also have made it clear to the parents that you do not have to go to all these businesses this week. The books will still be there. And this year we've done it through till August, so that if you're on vacation, something happens, just regular busy life.
The flooding that you just had, some of the families are probably dealing with that too.
Yeah, exactly. And you don't know what's going on in life. You know, maybe it's too hot, maybe it's too rainy, maybe everybody's too grumpy to go in the car today. Maybe it's just, you know, you've come on a Monday and businesses aren't open on Monday. You can come on another day. So we try to let them understand that it's okay to go different times. You don't have to do it all that week. And that way it makes it a little bit more relaxed. Everybody still gets their free books, and everybody comes away a lot happier with it. Do I have anything more here? Nope. Just this is Jennifer Ellison's information and some pictures. So we have Jennifer's information, and we have my information as well. And you're welcome to always contact us. Both of us. Jennifer wasn't able to be here today because she's in another seminar for Cradle to Career. So that's the basics of what it is. It actually is a very fun experience. It helps the libraries that are tight on budgets, because you are not buying all of these prizes. You're not continually working through prizes. You can focus on programming so that you can put your money into programming. You can have, like this year, we had a gentleman who found a lot of local fossils and Native American items. He was able to come out and talk to us. We could focus on that programming. We could put the money into a lunch. We could do other things. We're not buying all kinds of little trinkets that everybody has to deal with later on at home. It seems to focus it. It does affect each library because the number of books that are being checked out over summer reading does drop a little bit, because you don't have the kids going, I need to read 300 books over the summer so I can win a prize. They're now focusing more on the reading, and we're happy to say that statewide and countywide, our numbers are coming up on literacy.
And someone was wondering, how has this actually affected the testing? Do we know yet?
It has. I mean, it has a small part. I can't say that it has. We have not gone and tested exactly how many. We don't always keep track of how many families are involved. I mean, that is something that you can do if you choose to. But we don't go in depth like that because we don't see a real reason to do that. We want to make it fun, but we want to make sure everybody's reading. I think it takes the pressure off the children quite a bit because they're not trying to go, I need to read 20 minutes a day, which they should still be doing, but they're not feeling the pressure to be constantly in a book when they're at home. They're not going for quantity, they're going for quality. We're going for quality, definitely. So we're getting the comprehension, we're getting them by using these forums, we're getting it clear that they are reading the book, that they are understanding what they're reading. So I can, when they come in and I ask them, so what was your book about? They can actually tell me what the book was about. And they can tell me, hey, I really like this book. Do you have more of this author? Mm-hmm. And that doesn't always happen when you're going for mass quantity of books. It does make it a little easier on the librarians too, because we're not buried under a pile of books. If you're a solo librarian like myself, the children's books before could get, you could be checking in a couple hundred books a day. Mm-hmm. Because the kids are just trying to pop their numbers up. Now it's just it's made it a more relaxed. It's made summer funner, but it's also got them reading quite a bit.
Yeah. So this is the second year of the program, correct?
This is the third year. We're on our third year.
Oh, wow. Okay, cool. Yeah. All right.
So like I said, each year gets a little bit easier. You're going to have to put in the work the first year. You're going to have to put in work the second year. And you want to, maybe you don't have a good experience with a business. We have had a case of that where we didn't have a good experience with the business, or I should say the patrons did not have a good experience with the business. We've chosen not to ask them to participate again. Mm-hmm. And you learn those things. And of course, businesses come and go. It's a real benefit to a new business because it gets people in their door.
Oh, yeah.
They're like, oh, we haven't had time to come over here, but now we're here because my kids want this book. And they take a few minutes, they look around, they might do some shopping, and they do go back. Mm-hmm. So that helps the newer businesses. It helps the businesses that are out in farther flung parts of the county that people don't always go to. Newport is being, like I said, our county seat. A lot of things get seen in Newport, but maybe not out here, or maybe not out in Cosby. So that helps a lot with those businesses too.
Yeah. Someone did have a question about, because you're talking about sometimes having the each community being a different week. How far is the distance between each of the
miles? I mean, we can go by miles, but you also have to go by the fact that we are in the mountain, we're mountain communities. Yeah. So I will go by time. It takes me 20 minutes to get from Del Rio to Newport. It takes me an hour to get to Cosby because there is no direct route that you can go through. You have to go back through Newport and go back over. Mm-hmm. So there's a fair amount of distance. I think it takes me 20, 25 minutes to get to Parrotsville. So people that are in Cosby, they're doing the same thing because you have to drive down through the county seat and back over. It's just part of the mountain town structure.
The way the mountains make you go, absolutely.
Yeah, exactly.
All right. What else do you have? Is that are we?
That's pretty much what I have. Do we have any questions from anybody about how to do that?
You have some that did come in, but I didn't want to cut off your presentation.
No, I think I've said what I've had to say, so I'm happy to answer questions.
Yeah, thank you. I think this is a great program. I think this is so fun. Definitely doing something different in general is always a good idea, just to mix things up. Right. And it's about the passport program. We have a passport program here in the state of Nebraska about just visiting businesses that the state does. And it's just about traveling to visit new communities, and you get your passport stamped, kind of thing. And so it's like what you're saying. You get these businesses or locations that have participated in it get the walk-in people more. And I know my husband and I visited a couple of places here just in Lincoln that we hadn't gone to before, just to get that passport on our stamped up, got some nice coffee at a coffee shop. And yeah. So yeah, if anybody does have any questions, type into your question section anymore. I've got a few here that I am going to ask, but we have plenty of time here to ask any questions that you want, or anything you all want to share about what you're doing in your libraries, possibly for summer reading or these kind of literacy programs here. Someone does have a question about the book report versus book review. That I know your form for the older kids was called a book review, the middle one was book report. And they're just wondering, do kids think of it as, like, if it's a book report, do they like, oh, it's like schoolwork?
I haven't heard anybody say that. I think we kind of use the term interchangeably, and I think the local schools do too. It's a book review, book report. I know that. So yeah, like I said, some of the forms you say book report, some say book review. What says the littler one says book review. Mm-hmm. I think
there's not been any like, oh, I don't want to do schoolwork during summer.
No. We also have a very large homeschooling community here, so a lot of the kids that do participate, at least for Del Rio, are homeschooling, and same with Parrotsville. Parrotsville is right on the edge of Greenville County, and so they get a lot of people from Greenville that come over and participate. And we don't limit them. We don't say that you don't have to live in Cotton County to be part of this. If they want to come and participate, we let them. So we're kind of reaching out a little bit to other counties too, just passively that way. So
yeah, your users are whoever walks in the door.
Exactly.
Yep. Someone has a question about the budget for this. I know you said the first year that you purchased the books to get started. So what was the budget for that? How do you have
So
any numbers on the cost of the running the program?
the budget is non-existent. It actually, the first year we did buy a few books for a few people. I wish I had Jennifer's numbers because she works with Save the Children as well. They give her a little bit of budget for helping the libraries, and she uses that. I would say mostly we're putting the money onto the businesses so that it's now so not coming out of our budgets. So we go to the business and say, hey, would you like to participate? This is how much it's going to cost to get this type of book. We say, what kind of book? We go through the list and go back to them and say, is this book good? This is what it's going to cost. And they write us a check or hand us cash. Some people just went, yeah, get me this kind of book, handed me cash right there. and others, they want an invoice. They want it to, do it a little bit differently. And it's a little bit more casual in a rural area. And some businesses are just a little more casual about it. But the cost is mainly on those businesses. This year, I spent about $25 to buy a box of 500 of these notebooks. And thank you, Timu. But I think more it's the cost of time. I would say the very first year I put in close to 100 physical hours going out and about. That's driving time, talking to people, getting the books, delivering it back out. Now that we're getting it a little bit more streamlined, I probably spent an hour on the phone talking to people. And then going out to the businesses. The other libraries also do. We kind of use the town library as a central drop off. I would drop off and they take it out to businesses there. So I think total maybe this year we put in 10 physical hours. And now that of course is going to be, I would, if you are allowed, if your library allows you, you bill that back to your library, you put that down as part of your payroll hours. And that's all going to depend on what your salary is. Of course, I can't say what that budget's exactly going to be, but it's not a lot of money. Now, when we have bought books, the very first year I had gone to a conference, online conference, and I won a $500 Scholastic gift card.
Nice.
So I used a lot of that, and I still have some piles of books from that. So that's helped with that. So I would say your initial investment is probably going to be just a few $100s.
Yeah. And then once it becomes,
and then it's time. Most of it's time.
Of course, yeah. I'm sure some of those businesses you're talking about, the different ways they pay, this is something they could consider as like a donation or something for taxes. So some of them may need some sort of a paperwork for that.
You just you can do a sheet on the letterhead saying that such and so made a donation to their business, and of course, we're not allowed to fill in the amount. They fill in their amount and deal with it on their end. But we can definitely hand them off a sheet like that if they choose to do it. Others, I think, just kind of write it off as a business expense and put it in however they do their taxes. So, of course, again, that's individual. Others, like I said, want an invoice saying that this is what they paid for. So, and you just work with each business as they need.
Right. Absolutely. Oh, I totally forgot what I was going to say there. Yeah. Of course. All right. So we do have another question here. And I was wondering about this too, because I know this is, and typically summer reading programs and things like are in the summer are geared towards kids, but there is even through the collaborative summer reading program that's doing the Unearthed story, there is adult summer reading as well that some places do. And someone wants to know, I'm curious if you have a sense of reaching reluctant or low literacy adult readers.
That is something we've been talking about, actually working on an adult program next year as well. Now that we've got the children's program fairly well established, people know what it is. They've heard it on the radio. They've seen it in the newspaper. It's other news agencies have picked up on it a little bit. Now reaching out to the adult reading program. We really have never had an adult reading program in this county because we are small. But yeah, I think that would be great to be able to try and do that. I think it would be very effective in large counties if you could get businesses involved and willing to do this. Give out, you could even split it out of here's a cozy reading book. Here's the nonfiction books.
Yeah.
Some people are really into the history. you could just really split it out or just make it a library book program. The ones that I've ever been participated in before, I basically have gotten, I won a cup. So I still have my cup, but you know, they're a little bit different. They require a little bit less reading time, but I can see adapting this to do adult programs and getting businesses who are willing to buy books for the adults and handing them out on the same general basis that we would do with the children's. Yeah.
Sure, I think it would easily be. And now and you could also, then you might have more, this is gonna sound bad. I was gonna say adult businesses, but it's not what I mean. Like bars or restaurants or coffee shops or things that adults would frequent more than that children.
Right. Yeah, that's something we do not put in right now. We do have smoke shops. We do have adult, like you said, adult geared businesses. We do not put them on at this point.
Of course.
But if we had an adult program, we definitely could put them on there. So, but we've got everything from medical centers to county court clerk's office to I'm gonna call it a couple of art stores. One's an art studio where you can go and take classes. The other one is a consignment art, antique malls, restaurants. Basically, you just ask everybody when it comes down to it. You just walk down the street and hit every business.
Yeah, just going to every door. Because you were saying businesses, but yeah, it doesn't have to be business. Just be someone who wants to participate. And
right.
Like you said, the hospital or
exactly
the local. And what do we have here? We have mini golf place too. I mean, things like that could be anywhere that you'd want to get people coming into. Yeah.
And we've been asked, is it allowed to hand out extras? And that's up to you. That's the minimum is you hand out a book. If you want to, like you said, mini golf, you want to hand out a coupon as well. The city hall in Newport gave out backpacks the first year, full of goodies and such. Other places, like the one bookstore, gives out 5 books. It's just your total choice of how you want to do it. The minimum participation is your name is on the list, you hand the book, and of course the business is polite to the families when they come in.
Right. Yeah, and that gets more into because you did talk about you wanted to do more things that were experiences, and like this treasure hunt is an experience. But
definitely,
I know some libraries do have that there are prizes rather than being, like you said, little trinkets that the kids are excited about for 5 minutes, and then you step on all over the living room.
Yeah, on the floor in the living room.
Coupons for like the ice cream shop or going to the children's museum or things like that, where the actual prizes. Yeah.
Yeah, and we've done those in the past too, the bowling alley, ice cream, things like that. And some of them got used, some of them didn't. Our big experiential ones were, of course, the bigger prizes. But now it's made our lives easier because almost all of us are solo librarians out here. So you are wearing every hat that you could possibly have, including that one. You're doing everything. So if you don't have to do some things, but still have make a very good experience for the kids, that's where you go. Make your life easier, but promote literacy at the same time. And this really, I know it, I say I make it easier, but then I talked about how many hours we put in to doing this. It is something that after you get established does get easier and easier to do.
Yeah. So, any new program you're going to do is going to have those growing pains and figuring out how are we going to do this, what's going to work, what's not going to work, and you just you get it down to a science and figure out, yep, this is how we do it now this year. Yeah.
And communication is key. I mean, we've had to be flexible this year with that one business closing. We just made a local announcement saying they're still participating. This is where you can pick up the book, and they'll take care of your book. Same thing. We made the announcement after the flooding here that they can't do it, we'll take care of it. So we're still continuing. It's just a little bit of flexibility because you have to. You never know what's going to happen. And even if you chose to run this, say we run it during the summer, maybe it's something you ran over winter break. Now you've got to factor in, winter weather, depending, you're in Nebraska. You've got to factor in those giant snowstorms that shut the holiday down and things like that. So I'm from Colorado myself, so I understand.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. We do have that. And yeah, some libraries have, I have heard about winter reading challenges that libraries are doing to continue, not just be a summer event. Absolutely. Yeah. And then people can do their Christmas shopping when they visit, or their holiday shopping when they visit one of the businesses or something.
Exactly. So, and of course, every library does participate. We have the 4 libraries. All of us are participants in this too. So you have to come here. And it helps people that don't always know that there are libraries in other communities too. So
True.
I am hearing less and less of, I didn't know a library was here, to, hey, I've never visited this one before. So that's good, because that helps us as libraries too, because that's getting people in our doors that might not come in the door otherwise. So.
Absolutely. Yeah. It's best for good for everybody. Yeah. All right. So does anybody have any other questions about the program or what they're doing at Lisa's library here? Type in I've grabbed all the ones that I saw so far. But if you have anything else, you can ask. We did have one one concern. I was wondering, is your library okay? Is that library okay related to the flooding?
Yes, actually we are. We did have, the water was so heavy that of course it's literally just running down hillsides, and of course all the creeks and streams were out. I don't know where they got the doors for this library. This is not the first time we've had water run up against these doors, but they seal so perfectly. Wow. That when I could see all the mud and stuff that was up against the door. When I opened the door, I came over on Sunday to check it. I opened the door, reached inside, and touched the carpet, bone dry. Wow. So we are perfectly bone dry. We also happen to be in a good spot where it does drain off fairly quickly, but we're not very close to the creek or the river, so we've been able to avoid this type of thing. So water running through, that's just going to happen. Yeah. We're fine. Yeah, we're good.
Good to hear. Yeah, because we were mentioning the flooding had just happened, and of course people were concerned and like, oh no.
no. We the library in town in Newport did get a little bit of water in, and that again, it was water running down the hill, and it was easily mopped up. And they put a sandbag so that no more water would come in, and it was flash flooding, so it was here and gone fairly quickly. So.
Yeah. Well, that's good to know. All right. Okay. What other questions do you all have for Lisa? Any thoughts, any ideas, anything more you want to know about or see what they were doing there at their library? We have still more time left if you do want to. Do you have anything you want to ask about? But this is a great program. I'm so glad we were able to get you on the show here to talk about this and share with everyone what you're doing there. It sounds like a very creative, not something that I've heard of a library doing before. But libraries are always looking for new ideas and new ways to do things, and we do like to share and duplicate, copy what other libraries are doing. So.
We don't know how long this will last. And when we're done with this program, we'll come with something new. Yeah. But we'd like to be able to share it so that other libraries can give it a try and see what's going on and maybe help their communities. I think it works very well for a small library. I can see it working very well for a large library too. It makes things a little bit easier on all of us. And like I said, it gets people in the library who might not always come into the library. It seems to get more kids into the summer reading programs. And it just relieves a burden off of everybody. Yeah. We don't have parents having to carry these giant armloads full of books. We don't have kids feeling pressured to read, There's
a lot of pressure, pages and pages. Got to keep going. Yeah.
Exactly. And we do want them to keep reading, but we want to really focus on reading for comprehension. That's I think is the biggest point. It's not how much you read, it's how well you read it. So.
And that literacy connection, is the whole initiative, thing that initiated this whole thing. Yeah. So if in your own other communities, if you have some sort of literacy group, that would be someone to work with as well on this to help you with some of the work possibly as well, the same way they did in Del Rio here.
And you can always put this off on the Friends of the Library and then do the legwork.
There you go. Yeah.
We don't currently have a friend, so it came down to us to do the legwork. But I would think this would be a perfect project for Friends of the Library to go out and do, and that the library is going to be the focus point. You are going to be the arranging of it, but you can send the team of friends out. They can go out to all the different businesses. They can get on the radio. They can go to Kiwanis or whatever organizations you have in the community and get support. It is a low cost but high time for the first few years, and then it just becomes easier and more relaxed the further on you go.
And now that the businesses know about it, they are, and as long as they want to keep participating, they start coming to you.
Exactly. That's been very helpful to both Jennifer and myself. They've had people who reached out, have said, "Hey, we've heard about this." Jennifer's in town more than I am, so people do tend to contact her a little bit more when they see her. They know who she is, and go, "Oh, hey, we want to get involved. Great, let's get you involved." It doesn't take much to get somebody to sign up to do it. They just have to have, and we just do perfectly verbal agreements. It's, you agree to do this. We're going to help you get your book. We bring you a book. We tell you what day what week you're going to be. You start on the list, what your number is, and you go from there. So yeah, it spreads the work out among the whole community instead of putting it all on the librarians.
Yeah. Awesome. Sounds good. All right. Well, I don't see any other desperate questions that came in while we were just chatting here. So I think maybe we could wrap things up if nobody has anything to want to ask about. Yeah. Thank you so much, Lisa. This was a cool, fun program. I hope more other libraries do try and do the same thing, and maybe reach out to you for if they want to chat about what you're doing. Like I said, the slides will be available with the recording. But if you do want copies of any of like you said, your the Canva book reports, forms and things, you can reach out to Lisa at her email or phone number right there, and she will be happy to share it with you.
Yes, no problem.
Yeah. We got lots of thank yous coming in. Thank you. Great programs. Lots of comments coming in. So yes.
Awesome. I agree. All right. Well, thank you very much for having me, and I hope other people find this interesting. We're talking about it now. This gives you almost a year to
think about it for next year's for your next.
Exactly, it's good for next year and gives you time to think about what you want to do.
Yeah, awesome. All right, thank you. I'm going to pull presenter control to my screen here now so that I can do my wrap up. All right, so thank you, Lisa, for being with us today. Thank you, everybody, for joining us. As I said, the show is recorded and will be posted soon. If you use whatever is your search engine of choice and type in the name of our show, NCompass Live, you'll find our main show page and our archive page. But here is our main page for the NCompass Live with our upcoming sessions. But right underneath that is also a link to our archive shows. So the most recent one is at the top of the page here. Excuse me. So today's will be there, should be there by the end of the day tomorrow, as long as GoToWebinar and YouTube cooperate with me. Our recordings go up onto the Nebraska Library Commission's YouTube channel. So that's where the recording goes. And then the slides are, well, however the people sent them to me. Everyone who attended today's show, as I said, and registered for today's show, get an email from me letting you know when it's ready. We also push out onto our social media. We do have a Facebook page for NCompass Live. So if you like to use Facebook, give us a like over there. We promote about our show. Here's a reminder to log into today's show, meet our presenters. We do promotion. And then when the recordings are available, we also announce about that. We use a little hashtag NComp Live, an abbreviation for our show name. We also put out onto the Library Commission has an Instagram. I'm putting it out onto my LinkedIn. Here in Nebraska, we have mailing lists, so we push out on there. You may also see notices about our show on other states' mailing lists or websites, because as I said at the beginning, we are free and open to anyone who wants to attend. While we're on our archives here, I will show you there is a search feature here if you want to see if we've done a show on a particular topic of interest to you. You can search the full show archives or just the most recent 12 months if you want to limit it to just something very current. And that is because this is our full show archives. And I'm not going to scroll all the way down, but if you can see your little scroll bar, this is a giant list of every show we've done, going back to when NCompass Live first premiered, which was in January 2009. So this year, 2026, is the 18th year of our show, and we've been here pretty much almost every week, a few weeks off here and there throughout the years. But do pay attention if you are watching any of our older shows to the original broadcast date. Everything has a date of when it first went live, so you'll know when it actually happened. But do be aware, things may have changed since the show happened. links might be broken, resources may have changed or no longer exist anymore. People may work in different libraries than when they presented for us, or different institutions. Programs we're talking about may be totally different now. So just pay attention to that, those original broadcast dates. But this is something that we do in libraries. We sometimes keep things for historical purposes, and as long as we have somewhere to keep them, which right now is our Library Commission's YouTube channel, we will always have our full archive available for you all. All right. Continuing education credits. I will mention that. You'll see here I do mention about if you watch an archive show for Nebraska libraries. I know a lot of people watch these online webinars across the country to earn continuing education hours or credit. If you are watching this show live, you'll get an automatic email from our GoToWebinar system that will let you say this is your proof of attending. If you watch an archive show, you will have to work with whoever is your CE granting body to ask them, how do I get credit for watching an archive? We don't know who watches the shows. We can't track who's actually watching a recording, but you so you'll have to work that out on yours. But for the live, everyone will get an email that you can use to prove to whoever you need to that you did watch today's a particular show live. All right, so that wraps it up for today. We've got our upcoming shows here, July and even getting into August. So next week, we will be talking about National Book Festival. Some of you may know of the National Book Festival that the Library of Congress does in Washington, D.C. They have a program they started, I think they started it last year, the Festival Near You, where states can do local programming related to the book festival. And Tessa Timperley, who is our communications coordinator here at the Library Commission, is going to be talking about what we are going to be doing here in Nebraska for the Festival Near You programming that is coming up. So please do join us for that if you're interested in what we're doing there or any of our other upcoming shows. So again, thank you everybody for being here with us today. Thank you, Lisa. Good to see you. Great to hear about all the awesome work you're doing there in your library. And hopefully we'll see you all on a future episode of NCompass Live. Bye-bye.